Well, hello again, my friends and fans everywhere. Once again, this is Jason Cosmic R SSP Authority. First, I want to give a quick shout out to two really great subscribers. I thank all of my subscribers. The channel's just starting to take off. But Donnie and I believe it's Krillboyne Kip. Sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing your names right. Thank you guys for all your support. I look forward to hopefully doing a live stream with you both in the near future. We tried to organize it, but it didn't work out, unfortunately, with Donnie. Hopefully next time it will. So my friends, are you guys ready to listen about the black budget technology today? I'm going to try to break down for you guys this amazing anti-gravity electromagnetic propulsion, okay? I've talked about it in previous videos, but let's do it again. And we're going to discuss about the black triangles, my friends, because we have a proliferation of them in space. It's been seen by witnesses worldwide as well. Of course, in upwards of 25,000 witnesses, the huge boomerang-shaped craft between 1982 and 89, okay? And this is the TR-3B, okay? This comes out of the most secretive aerospace program, the Aurora Project it's called, okay? And this is the most secret exotic aircraft that we have out these days. And they've been seen on submarines. I've shown you that photo before. As well as, of course, here's the Belgium incident, my friends. A legitimate photo here. Oh, upside down. This is in Belgium, seen by many, many witnesses, thousands probably, in between 1989 and 1990. And the performance, my friends, the functionality which we're going to get is totally off the charts. It left those Belgium F-14s, or F-16s, sorry, at over 40 Gs in the dust, okay? Totally unconventional, amazing technology here. Radical, gnarly UFO technology, as I always say. And this is trans-international, my friends. This is another reason why it's important to talk about it. This isn't just in America, my friends. China and Russia are using the triangles. It's encrypted. I told you, my friends, before, very important to note. The military on their patches, they secretly, often secretly encrypt symbols in the patches. So it's up to us. If we can elucidate, decrypt the symbols in the patches, then you know what's going on in a program, okay? And of course, this amazing photo behind me, which I love so much, the infrared photo of the cigar-shaped craft taken by Hubble. Let's do a thumbnail. Hopefully that'll work. But seriously, friends, so here we go. And let me just show you, here's the boomerang-shaped craft, okay, that was in the Hudson Valley incident, okay? The most prolific UFO sighting case of all time, most likely. And upwards of 25,000 witnesses saw these huge boomerang-shaped craft with a chevron-shaped triangular edge just appear over the highway. I think it was called the Castane Highway or something, freeway. They'd slam their brakes, look up and awe and wonder at these triangles. And I always say, my friends, they do something very interesting. They could go over the horizon and back again in less than a second. Truly remarkable. So I think, my friends, I perhaps, maybe I may have the only channel, YouTube channel, where I'm dedicating it to try to really break through this black budget technology for us, my friends. So we're going to describe the technology today. I've done it before in other videos to do with the black triangles. I've done a series on them, my friends, but we've got to do it again. Because I'm telling you, these triangles are so important. There is a proliferation of them that we have in space, all over the world. As I said before, seen by many, many thousands of witnesses worldwide. Okay? And there's so much video evidence and photographic evidence, it's undeniable. Okay? There's literally people making a living showing you the black triangles, including my subscriber, Krillboyne. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. If I am not, I'll correct it next time, and I apologize. These guys are great guys. Him and Donnie, my other subscribers, are really cool guys. So, and I told you, my friends, the more intelligent disclosure and talking and describing these technologies, the more we talk about it and what's really going on with the UFOs, my friends, we can get even closer to finally getting our divine right to get this anti-gravity for ourselves to benefit humankind, to benefit this planet, my friends, because it's a total free energy. And these covert military civilizations, as I've always said, they are literally harnessing that as a technological reality. It's a fundamental discovery breakthrough that they made in the 1950s. And if we have time, I'll read you the 2 newspaper articles that prove it, okay? And I've read them before months ago, but I think it's very important to read these articles again. Hopefully you guys will agree. And again, if you guys enjoy my zealous approach to my hardcore research and my unique way of trying, I think, to help humanity, to try to bring that much needed sufficient transparency and truth, please don't hesitate to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment if you have one. Hopefully share my videos, okay? And I read the comments. And thanks for your support, guys, because together I know we can, I'm pretty confident we can explode this channel. I think I have a lot of, hopefully you guys will agree, a lot of unique insights to bring on the all-important RSSP, Real Secret Space Program. I do believe it is the most important subject of our times, and it is a very complicating, complex subject, a multifaceted subject with a lot of moving parts, right? But again, what is anti-gravity? Well, anti-gravity can be used as a rejection force for propulsion, right? It's manipulating the gravity and gravity-like fields. Electromagnetic propulsion is accelerating an object by the utilization of magnetic fields. And electrogravitics is anti-gravity, but describing it in a way of an electric field's effects around a ship's mass, okay? So that's a broad conceptual overview very quickly there. But now let's get into the configurations of the TR-3B, my friends, because it is vital to explain what's going on with these amazing triangles technology-wise. And it's not rockets. It is absolutely not rockets. And you know, speaking of which, you guys know how I feel about rockets if you watch my videos, right? Hold on, my friends. Wait till we get production value in the near future in editing. I swear, it's going to be amazing. But so bear with me. Here's a great picture of a rocket, right? My friends, we have got YouTube personalities like, what's his name? He calls himself Answers with Joe. He's a nice guy. He does some great work. Don't get me wrong. But the guy is bragging about rockets in his videos. He's talking about the public space programs half the time. And he's bragging about rockets. He's even got a shirt. I don't think it's as cool as my shirt, in my opinion. Because he's got pictures of rockets? Are you kidding me? This guy doesn't seem to realize, I don't know why he doesn't, he just focuses on the government's narrative to do with the public space program. This is how they disorient the public, my friends. Billy Carson tells you basically as much as well. They disorient the public by putting out rockets out there. Even Billy says, you know, it's almost like a scientific project. You know, and the bottom line is rockets is dinosaur obsolete technology. Billy Carson tells you it's dumb. The great Michael Schratt, the aerospace historian, tells you it's dinosaur technology. This is 1943 Nazi tech, my friends. And then you get YouTubers like Answers with Joe, excuse me, and you get another guy called Astronauts, I think he calls himself Astronaut Answers. And they're talking about, of course, SpaceX with Elon Musk, Robert Bigelow, the private space companies. Well, that's all fine and dandy. But we need people to talk about the actual amazing, exotic, free energy and way more powerful propulsion systems. And rockets are destroying our ionosphere, my friends. It's a real shame, I think, that these two guys and other YouTubers as well have no idea. They do no research and investigation on the covert side of what's actually happening within the military contractors, the likes of Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, putting out these amazing exotic aircraft, the TR-3B, and it's trans-international. There's the patch. I told you, my friends. This is not a coincidence that they are secretly encrypting the symbols in the patches. This is why I get so excited. And the boomerang shaped craft, again, Hudson Valley, my friends. I mean, come on. And here we are. If they're using the triangles, I hope I'm not yelling. I'm excited. They're using the triangles to get to the space station as well. Okay? See? So, and the bottom line, let's get into the anti-gravity, my friends. I just had to throw out these two YouTubers. Again, they're doing great work. They've done some good videos, don't get me wrong. But they have got to get off this rockets thing. If you're going to talk about the public space program, you should be talking about the private space program. Excuse me, the real secret space program as well. And this is why I think you need YouTubers like me, hopefully, so we can get that disclosure and real intelligent conversation and transparency and truth on what's really going on with the black budget technology. And here we go, my friends. Here we go. So the TR-3B comes out of the most secretive aerospace program, the Aurora project, right? And it's the most probably ultra top secret exotic aircraft that we have going today, all right? As I said, for decades now, we've had a proliferation of these triangles seen worldwide. They're going to the moon and Mars off-world for this off-planet investment in infrastructure, no question about it. Delivering massive military assets. We'll get into more of that in future videos. So the internal configurations of the TR-3B are, let's start off with, what I've learned is, of course, they have two circular rings of accelerating plasma with an MFD switch, a magnetic field disruptor that surrounds the crew's rotating compartment, okay? And they have this, the plasma is generated, the plasma generates mercury at 250,000 atmospheres at minus 123 degrees Kelvin and accelerated to 50,000 revolutions per minute. So amazing torsion physics there, of course, and amazing, really high atmospheric pressure. And as a result, it creates a superconductive plasma, okay? And as a result of that process, you get an interruption of gravity levitation. And more specifically, that MFD switch, the magnetic field disruptor, generates a rotating magnetic field that negates or neutralizes the gravitational attraction or the attraction gravitational effects of that ship's mass by 89%. I repeat, my friends, they, with that generating rotating magnetic field and the interruptions of gravity levitation, they are negating or neutralizing the gravitational effects and magnetic effects around that ship's mass by 89%. That is so significant. So you've got a 600-foot triangle, my friends, that's only got, these boomerang-shaped craft were even larger than the 600-foot triangles, but the TR-3B, they're give or take 600 feet or more, right? These huge triangles. And you've got just 11% mass. That is truly extraordinary. And you wonder why. No wonder their performance capabilities are just off the charts. Nothing's comparable, my friends, okay? You know, it makes the F-35 and the B-2 Stealth Bomb Hunter and any other conventional aircraft look like a sandbox, okay? I mean, come on, it'll leave those things in the dust. These things accelerate thousands of miles an hour within seconds and can change amazing right angles, 120-degree turns without decelerating, seen by witnesses worldwide and in space, as a matter of fact, my friends. You can see some of the performance characteristics, okay? And yeah, I mean, I always say they do something very interesting. Even the Hudson Valley incident, witnesses were seeing them hover and all over the world, and from a dead stop hovering, they can go over the horizon and back again in less than a second. Amazing, right? Truly radical, gnarly UFO technology, as I always say, astounding. So now, so I've just described that. So the TR-3B, my friends, you've got 11% mass. That means, of course, this object can accelerate, as I said, so fast, so quickly. It's got no inertial force. This thing goes into space very swiftly without feeling any strain beyond Earth's orbit gravity fields, my friends, because they're manipulating electromagnetism and gravity. All right? And this started with those Nazi scientists with a primitive anti-gravity. We'll get into that in future videos. And the Americans worked with those Nazi scientists in the 1950s. We'll get into it. And they harnessed this amazing technology, the legendary powerful cosmic energy, the anti-gravity. They harnessed it as a technological reality and are doing so today. And as I said, these YouTubers, in my opinion, they do nothing. The ones that talk about rockets and are bragging about rockets, and even Joe Rogan bragged about rockets with him and his guests once, that does nothing to get our power and sovereignty back. We've got to penetrate this black budget technology. We need to show it. We need to talk about it. And ultimately, because we can get our divine right to this anti-gravity. If we're just going to talk about the public space program and rockets, dinosaur technology, we don't bring ourselves, we don't do any justice. We don't get any step closer to getting this free energy to benefit the world, my friends. Because we've already been lied to 60 plus years. 60 plus years they've been harnessing this thing, this amazing energy, since the 1950s. I told you, my friends, it started with plasma and fusion experiments with Ronald Richter in 1936. I've talked about that, but a long time ago, and probably on my other channels about Ronald Richter, but not on this channel. We'll get into it in future videos. So again, my friends, it's anti-gravity, amazing electromagnetic propulsion here. The electrogravitics as well. All this research and testing was going on in the 1950s. They were doing a mega Manhattan-like project in terms of researching, testing, and ultimately curating this amazing technology. And it's zero-point energy, my friends. It's getting that energy from the ether of space, okay? And Ronald Richter, in 1936, he told an Air Force committee, what the United States secretly flew a committee. We got this under the Freedom of Information request. You can get it, where they flew over to Argentina to interview Ronald Richter to find out what the hell he knew, you know, that the Americans didn't. And that's when Ronald Richter said that him and a scientist had discovered zero-point energy. And what he said was, I'll just briefly tell you, my friends, very important, because this is what's going on in the TRB with some of the technology, okay? That he theorized that when you have plasma under extreme electromagnetic stress and rotation, because back then they were globbing this thing with direct high current electricity, okay? And it was a project called the Bell, which was rated more top secret than the atom bomb, all right? Just truly remarkable. They wanted to keep this thing hush-hush because they knew it had major future ramifications for future technologies, okay? So, again, they were globbing this with really high direct current electricity, and he said that I theorized plasma under extreme electromagnetic stress and rotation gate the cellular structure of space. And for a brief moment, we can create the transduction phenomena known as zero-point energy. That's right, zero-point energy, my friends. And if you can figure out the relationship, you know, between zero-point energy, the fabric of space-time, if you can energize that, and if you weaponize that, you know, like the great Joseph P. Farrell likes to say, you could make theoretically a hydrogen bomb, look like a firecracker. It's truly powerful, my friends. And that's what they're doing. They are harnessing the zero-point energy, my friends, and they are manipulating electromagnetism and gravity and rotating that plasma at tremendous speeds, okay, for this high atmospheric pressure. And on top of that, it's got a 3 multimodal propeller system on each lower corner of the triangular platform, all right? And I think it's 3 atomic engines, okay? And it also has a nuclear reactor. I talked about this in one of my videos briefly, my friends, that it has a nuclear reactor, and witnesses worldwide have seen tubes, pipes, and cylinders on the bottom of this triangle. I mean, truly remarkable. It's just a lot of mechanical infrastructure on the bottom. And I said in one of my videos, and I'll tell you guys now, that I theorize, just like Michael Schrank does actually, that the pipes are used as a cooling router for that superconductor, the nuclear reactor, because, you know, for the liquid nitrogen cooling, because you'd have to cool this thing way, way down at 230 or something, almost absolute zero, right? And so that's why you've got the pipes. And again, it's pipes, tubes, and cylinders on the bottom of this thing, all right? And, you know, it evolves itself at high altitude using invisible stealth technology, because the outer coverage of the TR-3B has a radar reactive polymer that is, you know, it affects the radar absorption, reflectivity, and color, okay? And so, you know, in conjunction with that, it actually, in some of the TR-3Bs apparently, on the radar screen, you know, you might just see a cylinder or a small ship on the radar screen, okay? It's very stealthy. Witnesses have reported just sort of a low humming sound at times. And, you know, this thing can't be tracked by a Russian ICBM, of course, because it's super fast, again, very stealthy. And again, I think it operates, again, evolves itself in high altitude, and it is used as an operational tactical reconnaissance aircraft flying platform. And of course, this thing's weaponized as well, no doubt about it. And it has indefinite flying time, indefinite flying speed, okay? Because when it reaches high speed, you only need a little bit of propulsion to maintain altitude as well, all right? Because think about it, those atomic engines, even though they may be there is a little bit of rocket associated with this craft, my friends, But when you've got 11% mass, you hardly need any thrust from these huge atomic rocket engines, because they're manipulating electromagnetism and gravity for starters, and it's only got 11% mass, my friends. All right? So this thing goes apparently below Mach 9 to climb. All right? And then when it goes to, when it reaches at about 120,000 kilometers or so, God knows how fast it can go after that. All right? And, when you're going to Mars, for example, and believe me, these things are getting to Mars on an average of 2 weeks. Billy Carson tells you. And you guys might be asking, who are new to my channel, who's Billy Carson? Why are you referring to him a lot in your videos? Or maybe this is the first time you guys heard me speak about him. I refer to this guy a lot because he's not a whistleblower. He's a hardcore space insider, kind of like I am. I think we're both almost like galactic agents fighting for the freedom of humanity. This guy owns his own space company, my friends, called First Class Space Agency. All right? That means he has top secret clearance. He said this in an interview at the Space Symposium in Colorado every year. He's talking to private space companies, okay? He has to sign non-disclosure. He can't talk about exactly what's spoken about in those meetings, but he tells you everything he legally can, all right? And he was just actually interviewed recently with two guys who, I don't know about their personalities, but some people like them. But these guys, I guess they're a riot, but I don't think they're necessarily really good interviewers. I don't want to cut them up too bad. But they did interview Billy Carson. Overall, it was a very good interview. And Billy had a lot of startling things to say. He spoke about 3D printing that literally is happening on the one side of Mars, my friends. I've always said, since I've been doing this research, there's massive covert production on the one side of Mars, and it's been going on the far side of the moon as well for many decades. And Billy Carson tells you the same thing, my friends. Major off-planet investment, major infrastructure. When you got guys like Elon Musk, these billionaires, and he's got the Tesla car, right, taking Nikola Tesla's name, they're not going to some space rock. As Billy says, there's infrastructure waiting for them, okay? And it's, I'm sure, and it takes a little while to get climatized because, yes, the atmosphere is not as good or it's not as prevalent as here on Earth. So it just takes a little while to get climatized. But my friends, they are going. They have special astronaut outfits, that aren't bulky like Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong wore going to the moon. My friends, again, the technology is absolutely remarkable. I give credit to the contractors and some of these, companies for being able to make these breakthroughs. Okay, and so this is what we're talking about. So that 3 multimodal propeller system. It enables the TR-3B, of course, it operates in the atmosphere, and the propulsion is offered by the nuclear reactor. And it operates in the upper atmosphere, the orbit, circumferential orbit, using hydrogen and hydrogen-oxygen systems, okay? And the TR-3B uses hydrogen or methane and oxygen for propulsion. And in a rocket system, that uses hydrogen, liquid oxygen, 85% of the propulsion creates oxygen, okay? So the nuclear reactor heats up the liquid hydrogen and it ejects the liquid oxygen through supersonic nozzles. It uses that oxygen as an additional boost for power, heats up the liquid hydrogen, and it ejects that liquid oxygen through supersonic nozzles so high hydrogen can combine with oxygen at the same time, all right? I've learned that through my research there. I think that would probably be pretty accurate, all right? And I wouldn't be surprised also if this TR-3B probably has a Nikola Tesla coil in it as well. Again, it's the amazing electrogravitics involved inside that TR-3B. I've already said they're rotating plasma at amazing speeds. And Nikola Tesla was involved in working with plasma as well to some degree. Okay, and a lot of course, amazing electricity inventions. So this is all happening inside this craft, my friends. And again, you're not talking rockets. Liquid nitrogen rockets, my friend. And liquid nitrogen rockets, as I said, this is destroying our ionosphere, my friends. It's terrible for the environment. What are they doing? They're constantly, the public space programs, releasing rockets, people and payloads with rockets. It's a joke. Okay? And even the Saturn V and the Apollo moon missions, my friends, I've listened to interviews over a year ago. Billy Carson tells you that technology, the Saturn V, was just a window dressing for what they really had. There was already a covert space program with a much higher pitch of technologies, the exo-atmospheric vehicles like the TR-3B, okay? It was probably already in operation then, and if it wasn't the TR-3B, they would have had the Boomerang, even larger triangular craft already flying in the skies, okay? And they had, we know they had UFO flying saucers back then. Even in the Australia case, for example, over 50 years ago, seen by, you know, hundreds, if not 1,000 witnesses or more in Australia with the kids, students, and teachers saw flying discs land in, you know, in the backyard there near the school. I mean, and that was before 1969. That was, I think, 1966 or 67, right? And we know that structures, the military had structures on the moon in going up in 1965, 66, because we know from the witnesses of the whistleblower Carl Wolf, my friends. I talked about this on the live stream with Joe from the Carolinas, okay? Carl Wolf, he has no reason to lie. If you listen to his interviews, you could tell he's a man of integrity. He was also on the Disclosure Project. He tells you he saw photos from a NSA photo analyst, okay, over at Langley. He wasn't supposed to see them. And they had domes, there were towers, there were all kinds of buildings. And, you know, he didn't say whether it was alien or whether it was military, but reason, logic, common sense. Come on, you got to know it's military. I will never vacillate from my conviction, my friends, that it's always been military UFOs. And I always say, let our cosmologists and astronomers still search for extraterrestrial life. As far as I can tell, we're still searching. And we're living in amazing, exciting times, a remarkable, privileged era. And I think we're on the cusp of this generation to finally find out, are we alone or not? And I think it most likely will be microbial life. But you know, many ufologists, actually 95% of ufologists probably, my friends, they sell themselves out. And they'll claim that some of these UFOs, like in the rings of Saturn or whatever UFO it may be, that some are ET or that it could be ET. That's a false narrative. That is completely false. We do not have to have, we don't have to say that any of the trillions of dollars are hardware or ET. It's military UFOs. It's very compartmentalized. I'll tell you one thing, my friends. Congressmen, senators, even high-level government military officials, most of them are not even read into these programs, guaranteed, okay? That's why you got military jets chasing UFOs for decades, all right? They don't even know half the time what the hell they're chasing. They may suspect that it's buried within the military-industrial complex, the contractors, but they're not read into the programs. So this is what's going on. We need transparency and truth on it because this is a free, viable, alternative energy. We have not needed centralized utilities, stinky oil and gas, or nuclear for decades. And any researcher worth a grain of salt will tell you that, my friends. Once you know about this amazing exotic technology, you see the military have shown it to us time and time again, almost on a daily basis worldwide. But they don't tell you what it is, right? And yet within the military, my friends, I said it's trans-international. So this anti-gravity, this amazing free energy technologies, my friends, it's an open secret. It's just unacknowledged. And yet again, you've got guys like Answers with Joe, he calls himself, and Astronaut Answers. These guys with huge YouTube channels, over 300,000 subscribers. Now, they've been in operation for a number of years. I'm just starting out my channel. And they've got great production value, and they've got editing and all that for themselves and a video camera. You know, I wish them success with their channels. However, just keep in mind, be aware, my friends, that they are bragging about rockets. And we've got to get past rockets. Liquid nitrogen rockets is 1943 Nazi technology. You know, they love to talk about, oh, Elon Musk's sophisticated, heavy Falcon 5 rocket. And then both their channels, they bragged about how the rockets would land at the same time, these 4 or 5 rockets. Joe Rogan did the same thing on a show. I had to laugh. I mean, again, once you know the exo-atmospheric vehicles that they've had since, at least since the 1960s, again, they were researching and testing this anti-gravity in the 1950s, you know, and had UFO flying programs by the 1960s and beyond, my friends. You know that liquid nitrogen rockets is dinosaur technology, okay? So we shouldn't even be using this. You know, again, this public space program is just to disorient the public. It's to distract you guys and us, to distract us from what's really happening with the U.S. intel agencies, you know? And I always say this huge black budget, the hidden secret system of finance, these massive amounts of covert economic crime cash flows, right? They have positioned the U.S. intel agencies sort of in the role of international banksters with the, you know, the U.S. intelligence community with amazing technologies and money. It's placed the role of U.S. intel agencies in the role of international banksters. We got to remember that. We need a whole new awareness campaign over the U.S. intel agencies. In other countries, I'm sure, you know, they have their black budgets. They have their intel agencies as well. We know the U.S. There's great American people. There's amazing people in the military. And I'm sure there's some great people in the CIA. I even have a few people that I like in the CIA that I paid attention to. One of them is Kevin Shipp, all right? But there's a lot of insidious agendas, unfortunately, as well, because all this power, all this secrecy, largely with the CIA and other intel groups, my friends, that breeds corruption. We all know that. And we know they're largely unconstrained and out of control. And so, even Dark Journalist said we need a new awareness campaign over the U.S. intel agencies. I agree. Okay? So, just again, amazing technologies, my friends. Again, keep in mind, they are going to the moon and Mars in about 2 weeks. Truly remarkable. Or Mars in 2 weeks. The moon, they probably get there in 6 or 8 hours. I'm still trying to find out exactly how long does it take for them to get to the moon. But very quickly, my friends. Very quickly. And we're going to get into the missing trillions, hopefully on a video soon. I'll just warn you guys now that maybe I will do a long video, as I said before, every 2 weeks possibly. I want to do a longer video, maybe up to an hour or more, specifically going into those covert economic crime cash flows, the black budget, this hidden secret system of finance, the secret endowment of trillions and trillions of dollars disappearing in a hole, my friends. Huge amounts of government and private money. We're going to get into it. We're going to bring out amazing numbers and how much has been shifted out the back door out of North America. And it's going to blow your minds, I think, my friends. I've touched on it before. I've done a video a while back before on this, but I wasn't wearing my black shirt. And there was 2 issues that I missed when I did a 52-minute up video on the missing trillions. So you guys can look forward to hopefully me doing that. I hope you guys will appreciate and listen closely. Hopefully I do a good job. All right? So thanks for listening to the technology today, my friends. Really trying to break down some of the amazing exotic propulsion systems in that TR-3B and the boomerang-shaped triangle, because the different shaped triangles, my friends, they're very similar craft and they have very similar crossover of technologies. As a matter of fact, I'll just briefly say that boomerang-shaped craft with the Hudson Valley incident and the Belgium triangle, which is the TR-3B, and the huge boomerang-shaped craft, the same size as the one at the Hudson Valley, in 1986, I believe, called the Phoenix Lights case, very famous. You guys have probably heard of it, many of you. That was also the boomerang-shaped craft, and they all had tubes, pipes, and cylinders, okay? All 3 triangles, including, I think it was the 2000 case, the Southern Illinois case. That was also, I believe, a boomerang-shaped triangle of UFO seen by many witnesses, a very good case. And they all have tubes, pipes, and cylinders. And again, those pipes are used to, most likely, to cool that superconductor for the liquid nitrogen cooling. I find that very fascinating and interesting. And again, has nothing to do with liquid nitrogen rockets. Other than, yes, you've got 3 atomic engines, but you only need a little bit of thrust when you do use a bit of rocket thrust, because again, you've got just 11% mass. My friends, it's a totally non-conventional physics we're talking, a non-plutonium physics, manipulating that 0-point energy, the plasma, getting that energy from the ether of space, in other words, manipulating electromagnetism and gravity, so you can go thousands of miles an hour within seconds, turn right angles at tremendous speeds and 120-degree angles without decelerating. And of course, we all know with normal physics, in jet planes, with liquid nitrogen rockets and all this crap, you can't do that. You can't accelerate thousands of miles an hour within seconds. You can't reach the speeds that these things do. You can't turn right angles going tremendous, thousands of miles an hour, because the G-forces would rip apart the pilot. This is talked about time and time again with researchers. This is why, my friends, we have got to get this black budget technology. Again, the energies, some of the technology and scientific breakthroughs, because that's what it is. It's a fundamental discovery, breakthrough in scientific technologies that those Americans did in the 1950s with the help of the Nazi scientists. No question about it. And we deserve to have access to this discovery of technologies, scientific technologies, my friends, okay? This isn't coming out of the amazing techno wizards there in Silicon Valley or whatever it is, right? I mean, those guys are doing great work, don't get me wrong, but that's application and innovation. It's not fundamental discoveries. We have not had a real fundamental discovery breakthrough since 1945 with atomic power, except that it's happening in the classified world. I'm telling you, my friends. And when somebody does come out with a real fundamental discovery that's disruptive like free energy, you know what happens? This is a known fact. It's either taken right from you, or it's taken through national security order, or it's taken through the patent process laws of provision for seizure. We know, I'll give you an example real quick, my friends. We're going to do a whole video on talking more about this, that at the American scientists in Washington, D.C., they tell you, for example, that they have taken 5,125 patents have been seized. I'm telling you. Isn't that amazing? And that's just for starters. So that's how they hold the rest of the world hostage for decades, while the classified world gets to go on living through this anti-gravity space travel revolution, as I like to describe, because that's exactly what it is, my friends. All right? Using this total free energy that's our divine right for the whole world to have. And again, you know, I agree with Catherine Austin Fitts when she said, if you're going to build bases on Mars, and which they're doing, she knows they are, and of course Billy Carson tells you as well, when you're building bases on Mars and you don't have there should be a policy discussion. It needs to be made transparent, because they're stealing trillions and trillions of dollars. They're using drug money, covert economic crime, cash flows like you wouldn't believe, okay? They've been financing, getting money out of communities, towns, and cities for decades, particularly during the internet and telecom bubble. Catherine gets into that where, you know, she'd drive to an interstate, for example, and she could see how they funnel money out of communities, towns, and cities. Maybe I'll get into that in a future video. But today, my friends, sorry I'm getting carried away perhaps, but I wanted this video to be mostly on the anti-gravity. But when we're talking about these amazing propulsion systems, we've got to have awareness campaign as well over the trillions and trillions of dollars that is literally building the infrastructure, driving this economy. The lion's share of the economy is the black budget. No question about it. It is the space-based economy, which we're going to get into on future videos. We're going to talk about the space-based economy. And my channel, I'm trying to dedicate this to help penetrate that black budget technology, this black world landscape that's out there, no question about it. It's undeniable. And Michael Schratt's trying to do the same. That's why I really respect his work and admire that guy. Okay? So thank you very much for listening, my friends. I hope you guys, again, if you appreciate my zealous, hardcore approach and my efforts to try to help humanity, then please don't hesitate to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share my videos, and leave a comment. I'll read them. And I thank you for all the positive comments, whether positive or negative. I appreciate it. And any negative comments, I'll try to learn from it. But I've had many positive comments, and I'm very grateful. So I know we can make this channel explode, God willing, but I need your guys' help, okay? And I'll do my best to get our power and sovereignty back. Because, my friends, I know we can do it, all right? Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great day. Live strong. And more videos to come. See ya. Bye-bye.